All right, ready? Hey everybody, welcome to J Stern Designs. I have to admit I'm really happy to be back. My husband needed all the equipment for a shoot down in Stanford, so I had to completely disassemble my studio. And last week I did quick tips using my iPhone, and it wasn't really quite the same. So I'm really happy to be back, and I'm glad to be back in front of the camera because I'm really having a lot of fun with these, and I hope you are too. For today's quick tip, what I'm going to do is continue with the back yoke tutorial that I did a couple Tuesdays ago. If you need a link to that, I'll either link it below or it'll be linked in my blog post that goes along with this quick tip. You can find that at jsterndesigns.com. But basically, I showed how to cut apart your fit muslin and use the adjusted yoke piece to create a new pattern piece or an adjusted pattern piece. Today I'm going to show you how to take the adjustments you did in your fit muslin and actually adjust your pattern piece or transfer those adjustments to your pattern piece. Some people I think like to do that, or they have a preference, so I want to show you both ways. And then in addition to showing you that, I also want to show you how to relax the curve if your piece got too curvy when you were adjusting the waistband and the back yoke to fit your shape. For someone who has a really small or defined waistline, what can happen is the yoke can get really curvy. So you notice this is like borderlining on almost a C shape. And depending on the denim you're using, it might actually be a little bit too curved to sew well to the back leg, which if you remember, that's just a straight, the top of the back leg is straight. So you're sewing this curved shape to a straight back leg. So I'm going to show you how to relax the shape of this curve after we transfer these adjustments to the original yoke pattern piece. So let's get started. Here's my original back yoke pattern piece that I cut out my muslin with, and here's my adjusted back yoke that I cut out of my fit muslin. Obviously, if you're going to take the time to transfer your darts to your paper pattern, you don't need to cut your muslin apart, but just for ease of being able to see, I wanted it small so you could see what I was doing. You're going to need some Scotch tape in a weighted dispenser. You're going to need a pencil. You're going to need a clear grid ruler, and I like to use a rotary cutter to slash my pattern. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add up the amount of dart intake we have on this back yoke. And I basically am going to measure the top, and I've got 3/4 inch darts. I was pretty careful when I put these in to my muslin. I have to take out 1.5 inches across the top of this yoke pattern piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 guidelines, and I'm going to space them equally or pretty equally across my back yoke. So about every 2 inches, I'm going to make a guideline. So I'm going to make one here, and I'm going to make one here. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line straight across my pattern piece vertically, like that, and like this. I'm going to make little 1/4 inch guidelines on either side of my center, like that. And like that. Okay, and then I'm actually going to draw in the dart legs. Okay, so I'm going to connect my dart legs by connecting the mark on either side of my guideline. And I'm going to make these 3 darts. Oops, like that. Okay, and then to slash and remove the extra width, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the pattern piece like this, and I'm basically going to put a little piece of Scotch tape at the dart tip like this. I'll just plop them down like that, and then I'm going to cut to but not through the base of my yoke with my rotary cutter like this. I'm going to slide the slash over to the opposite dart leg like that. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the middle one. I'm just going to cut on my line. And then I'm going to slide the dart legs to meet each other. So I'm going to slide the slash over to the opposite dart leg like that. Tape it. And then I'm going to do it to the last one as well. I'm just going to use my rotary cutter, slash on the line, and then slide it over. Okay, so you can see that they match. So no matter which way you do it, you end up with the same shape. But I think that this is a little bit too curved, so let me show you how to fix that. I'm going to just tape my yoke onto this little piece of pattern paper just so it doesn't move. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace around, and I know I can use my ruler to get the straight ends like that really easily. And then I'm just going to dash it in for now. I'll make it prettier when it's finished, but I just want to dash in my shape. And the same thing over here. I'm just going to darken this in. All right, so here's my traced copy of my yoke. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw this side edge a little bit longer, and I'm going to measure down 3/8 of an inch like this, and I'm going to make a mark like that. And I'm also going to measure down from my original top or waistline edge down like this. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm shifting the side seam down a little bit to ease that curve. And basically this is what it's going to look like now. Okay, so you can see that this shape, my new shape, let me cut it out. I'm going to cut on my new line. Is just a little bit less drastic. Or you can see that this one is just slightly relaxed. It's not quite as curved. Okay, and I think that that will sew together more nicely with the back leg now. I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial, and if you have any questions or comments, please post them below or visit my blog at jsterndesigns.com. I'll put a link to last Tuesday's video if you need it. And I hope you have a great day, and we'll continue with another fun jean adjustment tip on Thursday.